in the building. We got Cam Dukes.
It is your host, Les Thomas, and I'm with Stillwater America Podcast.
This is the We Love Athletes podcast.
I guess good looking, probably. That's probably it.
And most importantly, the hard work of our educators.
Thank you again for hitting that play button for another episode of the Hetty Coleman Podcast. Go in.
Hello. Thank you for hitting that play button for another episode of the Hetty Coleman Podcast, where this time I'm not sitting down with anyone. I'm just talking directly to you who are watching this, who are listening to this, and thank you, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Share this with your friends, family, whoever you think may need this. Now, I have go-in conversations, and I always define go-in before I start my podcast or having a conversation with someone. So I say that we're having go-in conversations. Go-in is being consistent and doing the right things that allow you to achieve the wins that you have defined for your life or organization or business or whatever it is, so that you can live out your greatest story, or your organization can have the greatest story, right? And so I just wanted to share with you a win that I personally have, which is personal growth. And the way that I define personal growth is it's an ongoing process of improving myself mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And so I just wanted to share with you real quick 3 things that I try to be consistent in order for me to grow personally, right? And so one of those things is I try to have daily habits, which point back to either me growing emotionally, physically, like physically meaning healthier, or me growing spiritually. So those are some of the areas that my daily habits are built around me getting better in those areas, right? And so every day I have a list of things, and I try to do those things every day. Now, here's the second thing that I want to say that I try to be consistent in, which is part of my daily habits. So it's kind of confusing. So I'm probably going to end up sharing 4 things with you. So learning and self-reflection. So every day, part of my daily habits is to read 2 pages of a book. Also, part of my daily habits is to read my Bible, read a verse. I follow a reading plan that my church has. I follow that, and I try to write a devotion out of that, which helps me to try to articulate that or create commentary around what I had read, which kind of goes back to the self-reflection part of what I try to do consistently in order to grow. The third thing is goal setting and action taking. So I try to be a person who sets goals for myself and take action on that. In my closet, I have my goals listed out, which I call wins. So goals, wins. And I have what I call a superhero list. So I have my superhero list. It's up in my closet. Every day I see that and try to take action around those things that I have defined for myself, because I feel like they will allow for me to live out my greatest story. The 4th thing, which I said I was going to share 3, but I'm going to share this 4th thing because I think daily habits is really go in. Go in is about having these habits, right, that you do over and over again, because it's going to allow for you to achieve whatever the win is. Right now we're talking about personal growth. So me growing around mindset, spirituality, physically, being healthy, right, emotionally, being stable. The next one is just developing my growth around my mindset in general, which in that the Bible talks about, a verse in the Bible, Romans 12, 1 and 2 talks about, verse 2 talks about renewing my mind that I may be transformed, that I may be changed. And so my mindset is something that I try to work on consistently. And again, that comes through reading, conversations that I have, all these different things. But that mindset, really being intentional and being consistent and focusing on how my mindset is around things like failures and taking opportunities, having the right mindset around that. And just a few things that I want to share with you for a quick episode of the Hetty Coleman Podcast. Video of, actually, I will put this up audio at some point, but this is really going to go out for video because in this, I'm kind of testing a new camera and lens and trying to see what this looks like. So yeah, you may be looking to start a video podcast, and I think it's always good to talk through the different ways that we are testing out things. So I'm currently testing out a camera and a lens, and in that I said, let me do a quick Hetty Coleman podcast around just clarifying go in and some things that I'm trying to be consistent in. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hitting that play button for another episode of the Hetty Coleman podcast. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, as always, go win.